Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody, to the session on experience versus transformation, stand out from the crowd. And we have three lovely guests here who will give their vision and their best practices and key insights on how to stand out from the crowd using experiences and transformation. We'll have a lively 45 minutes. At the end, we have some space for some questions as well, so please collect your questions till the end. Okay, I'll start off. Maybe you could each introduce yourself shortly, 2 minutes. Shall I start with Niels?
Let's do it, of course. Yeah.
Can we check the mic for Niels, please?
Yes. Yeah. I think we're there. Awesome. Good. My name is Niels. I'm with CityHub for almost 3 years now. Head of operations currently, so in charge of all the hotels. We have one hotel in Amsterdam, one hotel in Rotterdam, and we recently in the pandemic opened in Copenhagen, so that's very nice. Did Hotelschool, the Hague previously, and yeah, that's about it.
Oh, welcome.
Yeah.
Bruno.
Is my microphone on?
Let's check. Is Bruno's microphone on? Yes, it is.
Okay.
Here you
Well,
have.
my name is Bruno Bont. I'm one of the two owners of Hotel Not Hotel. We started with our first hotel, I think 8 years ago. And a couple of months ago, we opened up our second hotel in Rotterdam. Hotel Not Hotel. We try to be as least as we can as an hotel, and we disguise our rooms as pieces of art. And yeah, we hope to build more in the future.
Okay, thank you, Bruno. We'll go more in depth into your concept in a moment. Michelle, would you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Michelle. I am the owner of Hotel the Craftsmen, located in the city center of Amsterdam. Studied Hotelschool The Hague as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great school, I would say, but yeah. Good. Let's start off. I think it's first of all important for everybody to understand the hotel concept that you have. So I asked you to describe in your own words the hotel concept. And again, I'll start here. Niels, maybe you could shortly explain what CityHub is.
Of course, yeah, sure. So Sam and Peter, the founders, started CityHub more than 7 years ago in Amsterdam. That was the first location. Yeah, CityHub is built around a couple of principles. So you have your own private space. It's been going on, yeah, really into depth about the making efficient use of the limited space that we have in urban environments, of course. So you have your really nice private space that's really comfortable, really good to live in and to sleep, and that's what we call the hub. And they intertwine like that. So you have a top and you have a bottom section of the hub, and it's separated between a wall, really well insulated.
Just for everybody to understand, it's more like a hostel concept or a hotel. How would you describe it?
So more like a hotel. We call ourselves definitely a hotel, but then it would be like a combination of both also. So we should take, we're also taking the aspects of a hostel in the sense of a social environment. But definitely we have the private space also, just like a normal hotel, but then yeah, just a little bit smaller. So the hub is really essential to the concept. Then you have the highly personalized services, which are the city hosts that we call them. So they give the guests a really local and authentic experience in the city that we're in. So that's really important, and yeah, that's what our concept mostly involves.
So you have a specially designed sleeping areas for people and social areas where people can come together, and then you also have city hosts, as you could call them, that actually guide the guest in understanding the city and everything that's out there for them to discover.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Really discover it as a local.
Okay, good. As a local, nice addition. Bruno.
Yeah. Well, Hotel Not Hotel, it's all in one big space. So we are a hotel without hotel corridors. So all the rooms are actually all connected by one open space, and we disguise them as art. So when you come in at Hotel Not Hotel, you're thinking, where are the rooms? Well, that's a little bit what we want. So we hide them every corner. And also we always have a restaurant. In Amsterdam we have a Thai restaurant, in Rotterdam a Mexican. but that's also located in the hotel. So yeah, guests are eating between the rooms, and I think that's what makes it a quirky concept and a nice experience for the guests.
So quintessentially, you say hotel, not hotel, actually means, of course, it's a hotel to stay in.
Yeah.
But once you come in, you don't feel that you're in a hotel because there's a lot of art and design is different
Yeah.
than you would expect.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, indeed. And the rooms inside, yeah, you get what you expect from a hotel room, but quite basic.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. That's also clear. Thank you. Michelle.
So Hotel de Craftsmen is housed in a kennel house originated from 1652. Before setting up the concept, we did some research on the history, and we found out that there were numerous craftsman families who actually lived there. We have some monumental aspects within the building, like a bedstead or the Delft blue tiles in the staircase. So we thought, let's honor a craftsman per room. So we have different themed rooms, like for example a shoemaker or a boat builder or an airplane builder. And through the use of antiques, we have decorated the rooms and honored actually the craftsmen of the past. By making use of the craftsmen of today, the hotel is very detailed. We're small, we're 14 rooms. We're focusing on personal service. So yeah.
Okay. So I understand that mainly the history of the building plays a big role in your concept.
Yeah.
And the craftsmen
Yeah.
that are related to it. And if you look at the experience you offer, you mentioned personalized service.
Yeah.
How do you make this service so authentic and make the experience so authentic?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we are very focused on personalization. We try to teach our team to, one of our values is to be courageous, to try and read the guest who's coming in. Are they looking for a quick check-in? Are they very interested in the building? Try to make it already personal by reading them. And that's something I think we're really good at. Yeah.
Okay, courageous staff.
Yeah. Sort
Courageous
of, yeah. It's like
okay.
that's the name of the value.
Okay,
yeah.
good. No, interesting. Any reactions from you?
The reaction, I think it's a really nice concept indeed. Yeah, for sure. And indeed, with those 14 rooms, I think it results in an amazing review score. I looked it up also, so very happy guest, right?
Yeah.
So I think you're doing something right there for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's different, of course, because we have less rooms than you guys. So, yeah.
The size does help to
Of course.
actually make the experience more authentic in that way and have that connection. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bruno, how do you actually give that authentic experience through your staff?
I think in a lot of hotels you get to the reception desk and there's a distance, and some people really want that distance. With inviting our guests, we try to lose that distance a little bit and be more of a host than somebody who works at the hotel. Yeah.
And how do you do that?
Creating the vibe where people interact and people don't feel the distance, and keep doing that. And we always tell our staff, if somebody asks about the museum and they come back, ask how the museum was, and that's how you get the conversation going. Yeah.
Keep the conversation going.
Yeah,
That's what you say. Yeah. You just talked about your courageous attitude of your staff. And what is the role of employees in actually trying to get you might even say a personal level connection with the guest?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So one thing you say is be more courageous in talking to them. What are other things that you tell your staff?
Yeah, so we live by a few other values actually. One of them is ambassador. I try to teach the team to be an ambassador of the city, but also from the hotel. Try to keep the story alive, keep the conversation going. Also, we have another value, which is curiosity. In every corner there's a different art piece to look at. I really want everyone to know how all of them are created, because we literally created all these pieces ourselves by gathering clocks and disabling them and making 3 pieces out of them. Well, you stay with us.
I know.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see. Definitely,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
So, and enduring is one of our other values, where I really want the history to be alive. I want the right people to come to Amsterdam for the right reasons. And yeah, with our concept, we try to push that a little bit. Yeah.
And if you think about, again, that personal level connection, so I know looking at you with the city host, you really try to get that connection. So how does that work for you? How does your city host operate?
Yeah, mostly through authenticity, I would say. So what we do is first we look at recruitment, right? And you really need the right people for the job. And we really need to have authentic people there that are really themselves, that are displaying their personality. And we're also setting them a bit more free, I would say, than traditional hotels do, to let them do things how they think is best. You know, we give them really good tools and really good training. We teach them how, but in the end, yeah, they should be empowered and also should be very much involved in the way that they're handling things. And I think this creates a sort of authentic experience for the guests, which they really like.
So you give a part of empowerment to your staff as well. I also understood that you try to get local staff or staff that knows the local area as well.
Yeah.
How important is that role in finding staff?
Super important, right? Because we have this really comfortable space that is great for sleeping and also has some cool features. You can put some really cool lights, disco lights in the hub or anything. So sleeping is really comfortable. But what we try to facilitate best is going out into the city and really discovering that as a local. And this is done by our city host. So they know the city really well. Probably they're born there, right? Because then you know the city really well. But they can also live there for a longer period of time, of course. Because then they can really give this local experience to the guests, and this is done on and offline.
How do you do this online? What's the online thing you do with them?
So we did a lot of tech development. We had a full-time CTO working for us, and also did our own app development. So it has exactly the features that we want them to have. And there's also an app built in there, and yeah, we can give them specific locations where to go, all really well worked out. So for example, they're in the Jordan area. They're sending us a text saying like, hey, I'm really looking for this great pancake restaurant, for example. Then we get a pop-up and we reply normally within a minute, and we give this really our personal favorite, you know, our best personal favorite within the city, and this is how we try to do it online.
And how does it work in 2 a.m. when they're looking for desk club?
Also. So we try to share knowledge, right? We do quarterly trainings, and this is actually the largest part of that, like actually sharing knowledge about the city and yeah, facilitating as best as possible how we can give the local experience, yeah, through the app for you 24/7.
24/7, knowing the city. Interesting, yeah, definitely. Bruno, anything on how you work with your staff and what the special things
Well,
they do?
I hear him talking about online and apps, and I see a lot of hotels are going towards more online. We really try to keep it offline. And for instance, you have the check-in process, you know, and with us you get a whole tour, basically, because you sleep in a museum. So we really take the time. Instead of making it less time consuming, we sometimes make it more time consuming.
I hope the guest is okay with that.
Yeah, but we always ask before, like, do you have the time? Sometimes somebody with long jet lag is not waiting for it. No, then we don't do it.
Okay, so you really take the time, actually, let's say in person, to connect with the guest.
Yeah.
So how do you, for example, train your staff, or what do you tell them, or? Yeah.
We always hope that they're locals and they know the whole city. Not everybody who works with us can be a local, so then we train them, give them a tour through the city, and let them know the city, and let them know the places where we want people to go. Yeah. So training.
Training, yeah, that's true. And if I look at one of the issues in the hospitality industry at the moment, of course, is the shortage of staff. I think even with your successful concepts, you still probably have challenges with that, or not? Maybe tell us how you experience it. Maybe Michelle will say something about it.
Well, I'm quite lucky. We're not experiencing that problem that much at the moment. We are a small team. I really try to invest a lot to make it yeah, to make it nice to work with us, we have a young group of people from Hotelschool, which we hire, and we have some trainees, and we try to keep it like a little community to work for. Also, we call ourselves ambassadors. We really try to communicate the brand throughout young people in Amsterdam, and I think it works well.
So if you're talking about young people in Amsterdam, I'm thinking Instagram. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct. Where our hotel is quite Instagrammable, just like yours, I assume, with all the art pieces, and it
quite.
attracts a lot of people. It attracts young people. You can do a lot with it. So
Do you also use this Instagram to find staff as well? Is
Yeah.
that related to that?
So we set up an Instagram ad campaign targeted within the postal areas around the hotel. In that way, we found numerous of people who work with us. We just recently opened a new outlet, the Craftsmen Kitchen, where we search for some young people just part-time working in a sandwich store. It was a very good investment, not so much, and we got a lot of people. So yeah.
Okay, good approach, and
Yeah.
nice to share as well.
Yeah.
Maybe also looking to you as well. Any insights or thoughts about finding staff?
So for us, it hasn't been a problem so far because it's actually working at CityHub is a really, really nice job. Like if I would have known it, I swear, if I would have known it during my studies, I would 100% work there. Because what we try to do is we try to make the processes as lean as possible. So they have really little administrative tasks, really a little, like no night audit, no nothing. And we really have to focus them on the guest, and that's what they really like. We try to hire people that are very social and very much approachable for people. So they really get a lot of energy of working with people. So in general, people like it a lot to work with us, and that's super nice to see. And for me, coming from the hospitality, I've never seen such low staff turnover. So that's a really good thing, I would say. So
Are there
Yeah.
like specific employee benefits you guys are offering, or something we should know of?
Not so much, I think. Not so much. I mean, in Amsterdam, we have people that are really there from the beginning,
Nice.
still working there. And one part I would say is that they're all part-timers.
All part.
And for us, it might sound like, or when I started at CityHub, also it was full-timer equals certain like engagement, right? Because this is your a big part of your life. This is really something that you're doing a lot of time. And with part-timers, it is a really big upside that you keep them fresh, you keep them engaged, you have something next to it. We have a lot of DJs, people working in the creative industry, people studying also next to it, of course. And having those two points of focus, I think really keeps them engaged, really keeps them fresh, really keeps them motivated. So I think those two things also help.
Very,
For
very
sure.
interesting to hear that, especially on the part-time part, being
Yeah.
the trigger to say, okay, that really works.
Yeah,
right,
I think so.
interesting.
I think so.
Interesting. Bruno, anything from your side?
No, I totally agree with your story. I think a job should be fun. And if you have a fun job and people tell other people, yeah, it's fun to work there,
Yeah.
it's easier to find people because people talk with each other. So always make sure that the staff has fun.
That is very simple.
Yeah.
Because then the next step would be if the staff is having fun, it means that your guests are also happy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be the
And then the
logical
circle is
consequence.
round.
Exactly. And then the owner is happy.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how it works. So in regards to your guests, are there anything that your guest says which you think, hey, but that really is something special that they find it meaningful to stay at your hotel, or they experience something special? Do you have any examples of things guests say? Maybe starting with you,
Well,
Michelle.
I look back in some reviews, and literally every review consists information about about our staff. I think with us it's a combination between staff, personalization, staying in a sort of hotel museum with all the art pieces and the history combined. That's something people, mostly tell about us.
Yeah. So people are getting a, let's say, an authentic canal house
Yeah.
experience from the past.
Yeah,
Obviously updated.
yeah.
And,
With luxury facilities.
luxury facilities, but also that part of staff interacting with them.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes it special for
Yeah.
them.
And I really would like to use apps and personalized concierge like you guys 24/7, but for us as a small company that wasn't really realistic. So we just try to train our staff to be the concierge and the bellboy and the front office employees. So, and it works. We use WhatsApp for our recommendations, so it's
Cool.
quite similar, but then I guess a cheaper version. Yeah.
Cheaper version, yeah. But
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah.
That's most important, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe also from your side, Bruno, anything that guests specifically say, making it meaningful?
I always love it because when you enter our hotel, some people love it first moment. Some people never experience something like this, and some guests are like, "Where did I end up? Am I going to like it?" And then to hear after their stay has been like, oh, "I loved it. It was absolutely fabulous." It's nice to surprise.
Yeah. So surprise is very important for you, right?
Yeah.
I also understand from the art and design is very important in the hotel. But what would you like them to take away from your visit? So what should be the thing they should remember in the ideal visit to your hotel?
I think people don't only visit the hotel, they visit the city, and they should have been making memories, and that goes through people, through places, and then they should have a very good sleep, of course, and feel like coming home. In the hotel. You've been in the city, you're tired. It's nice when somebody asks, "Hey, how was it?" Or when it was very rainy, like, "Hey, can we help you?" On that way.
Yeah, and feeling at home. But I also remember from our conversation up front that you also said, okay, but sometimes people are really surprised about what they see because art can be confronting as well, right?
Yes, I don't think the art we use is so confronting, but yes, sometimes people are not used to this.
Yeah, and it might not be something that you would like at home.
No. That is we create.
They stay there for 1 or 2 nights.
Yeah.
So that's, you want to have like another experience than at home, right?
Yeah, but it's also a lot of people look at things like, is this beautiful? Would I want my house to be like this? We try to have it sure that your house doesn't look like this. Yeah.
So you want to also provoke a bit in their thinking about.
No, I get remarks like, "Oh, I really love it, but I would never do this at home."
That's why you're on vacation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Niels, from your, what is it that people find meaningful, important, if you look at reviews and comments you get?
Yeah, I think it's about, in a way, exceeding expectations. If you can maintain such a high review grade, then you definitely have to exceed expectations. And I think in the first place, your brand identity has to be right? So you have to connect with the target audience. Then they have a certain expectation. I think like, oh, that's a cool concept, that's a cool room. And then you still have to exceed that expectation and maintain that high review grade there. And I think that exceeding of the expectation, because everything else, like the brand identity or the hotel itself, you can show with pictures. But exceeding of the expectations, indeed, also, like you said, with staff for sure.
Yeah.
So many staff mentioned, so many names, personal mentions there, so that's super nice to read, and almost every review it's coming back. So yeah, people really like that, and I think that's one of the most important things there.
That's interesting to hear that, like I already said, in a time when it's hard to find staff is exactly the thing that is most mentioned. If people say, hey, this is a great stay, the meeting people, connecting with people.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And then I would like to also think about in this post-pandemic era that we're in. Of course, things have not been the same the last 2 years, I understand, and we see that there is a huge increase coming now in vacations, right? I was at another stage, we were talking about the revenge holiday, that because you didn't have those holidays, you suddenly get a chance to go on holiday again, and you really want to make full use of that. Any insights for all three of you on post-pandemic behavior of guests? Do you see any changes coming up?
Yeah, for me in Amsterdam it's been really crazy because we had this uplift again in well last year around the same time in the summer, right? Some restrictions were lifted and we really saw the occupancy growing, but the price wasn't so elastic. And right now it has been crazy. The price elasticity has been huge. Basically, we've been almost up to 2019 levels. So that's been really, really nice and very, very promising. Copenhagen and Rotterdam also performing well. So I think that's the biggest change for me, and good outlook, and good to see also that the market can grow back to its old state so quickly.
Yeah, yeah, and that's talking about the market. And do you see any changed behavior as well of these guests?
Not so much. I think people still come for the city for us, right? They still come for the concept. I think there's just a big influx of people that want to do it at the same time. I had my revenge holiday already, so.
Yeah. He has been to, what was it again?
Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 full weeks. It was good.
3 weeks. Yeah. Okay, Bruno. Anything on the post-pandemic behavior? Any changes? Anything you can share?
Yeah, actually, I was amazed that even during the pandemic, we focus on young people. I was amazed sometimes how many rooms were still full. But yes, now we really see the prices going up because during the pandemic the prices were a disaster, and I'm very happy that in the future I see full occupancy and good ADRs. Yes. Yeah.
So you see recovery actually
Yes,
going up.
yes.
Yeah. Anything for you to add?
Well, people are just very relieved. They literally check in and they're like so happy to travel again. Even intercontinental, a lot of people. It was really, for 2 years, it was almost impossible from the States or whatever to travel to Europe. And I'm just happy to see that in the meantime, we opened in 2019. We were open for half a year. In the meantime, we had a tough time. We worked a lot on our marketing, and we really saw that we are somewhere on people's lists. People really want to stay with us. So I'm happy to see that worked out. And for the rest, I think people, as like in literally behavior within socially, everyone forgets about all the distance things very fast. There's literally no one asking me for hand sanitizers, or the people who travel they don't really mind those rules. The people who do mind, they are at home because they're scared still. Yeah, and if they want to, it's fine. But the people who travel, they are just relaxed and. Yeah.
You sometimes also see the behavior of guests change a little bit. I sometimes see them coming in with mouth masks, but then they see, nobody wears them here, and after 2-3 days you see them getting much more relaxed.
Yeah, people go back to the old behavior, actually, to the old normal, Yeah, we see that happening. Okay, I have one more question I would like to understand. I think it might be interesting for the crowd as well to understand. You have this concept, right? We're talking about stand out from the crowd, and being different. I think all of you mentioned elements that make that special. And for me, the red line, I think, is somewhere staff coming back. I wonder how the process goes into coming to the concept you have now. How did you figure out that this is the concept that works? Or is that the $1 million question?
Trial and error.
Trial and error. Okay, but maybe you would like to say something about that?
I think our concept started not really as we're going to do it like this, and it really went along the way. Like in Amsterdam, in the building we are in, we built 20 rooms. We have now 31 rooms there. We had a bigger restaurant, smaller restaurant. We kept changing it. And this was also creating the real concept of hotel, not hotel. In Rotterdam, the second one opened. And that was really more the version that, this is the concept. Yeah.
So trial and error, actually just trying out, experimenting, seeing what works, learning from it, and then going forward. Yeah.
Never be afraid to make a mistake. Yeah.
Not afraid to make mistakes. Yeah, good point. Michelle.
Well, the concept itself, I explained a little bit already how we set it up with the history and the craftsmen. But as for organizational wise, we literally started and tried to find our best practice. We're now 2.5 years along the way, and I think we really figured out how we want to do this. I think at the moment we are almost there. As I said, we did invest more as for opening the Craftsmen kitchen, which is also another outlet, a new facility to the hotel, which in the end could make the rooms more valuable, which I hope. So yeah, if you see an opportunity, you try to react on that. But for now, I think we're quite there.
Okay, good, good. Niels?
Unfortunately, unlike you guys, I wasn't involved with the creating of the concept, of course, because I joined just a few moments later. But I feel like it was already well formed. Like I think Peter and Sam did a really good job in creating the concept, and of course, indeed, like you say, like a lot of it is trial and error, right? You try things out and you see what works. But then I think a lot of things, for example, the brand values and the values that we use for staff, we're there from the beginning. We're still using those, and we still find those things that we originally started with the most important things. And then, like you said, we're improving constantly, of course, because we're scaling up as we go. So we're going through into more cities into Europe soon. Hopefully opening up one next year again. But and then the hub, of course, like I told you, is a very central point of the concept, of course, and this is what we try to make improve every time. So in Copenhagen it's a lot different than in Amsterdam, because that's already 3 versions ahead, and yeah, this is a really central part that we're constantly shaping and improving, and hopefully the next one will be even better. But it's really cool to see, like, going from Amsterdam, Rotterdam and Copenhagen in 1 week for me sometimes, to see the development also of the hubs, you know, like I really take travel to time, so constantly improving there.
And I must add, as for best practices, my lovely brother, who is sitting there in the audience, Niels, opened his Hotel the Nobleman. It's actually the same concept as the Craftsmen, but then with the Nobleman from 1700. 13 rooms, also displaying different noblemen from 1700, and it works also quite well.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear that when we're talking about this experimenting and trial and error and learning and growing,
Yeah.
we're again focusing on, let's say, the more physical side of the concept.
Yeah.
Whereas I find it interesting to hear about your values, staff, how you know, the dream that you work with, and how you try to keep that constant. Am I correct in that part?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. That's a good takeaway.
Yeah.
As to round off this part, I'm thinking I can imagine maybe the audience also has questions they would like to ask.
I have a question.
Please become part of the experience.
I have one, Ajay.
Okay.
I was just wondering, in terms of transformation, how much are you willing to accept that sometimes you can't offer your guests every part of the experience, and that actually sometimes you want to recommend other restaurants and cafes, somewhere for them to go and experience? Do you accept delivery orders, those sorts of things? Because maybe a guest wants to come in late and order a burger and not sit in your restaurant.
Well, we don't really want to say no to our guests, so we try our best to figure out how we can exceed their needs as best as we can. So we just try to use our network to figure out how we're gonna do this. So yeah, we are quite willing to accept that. We are small, we don't have that much facilities, so we need to use our neighbors. We don't have a gym, so sometimes I call another hotel in the neighborhood if my guests could just go there. So
Do you have partnerships maybe that you work
yeah,
together?
we were setting them up, and then there were no tourists. So we're getting back to that. Yeah.
Yeah, for us, it's a little bit the same. Also, never say no. So everything is possible. For me, it's always we don't want to be a 4 or a 5-star hotel, but sometimes you want to do more and more for your guests. But our guests are not coming for the 4 or 5-star experience. So it's sometimes like, no, we don't need to do this. The guests come for this experience. So yes.
Yeah. And for us, one of the values is also setting our guests free, right? They can do whatever they want and how they want it also. We also have a self-service bar, so there's no pressure of ordering anything. You can just sit in the bar area, the hangout as we call it. So in that sense, they're very much free to do whatever they want and how they want it also. And yeah, again, this personalized service, right? So that also, yeah, we talked about it before. Yep.
Okay, thank you. More questions?
I have another question. I was just wondering if any of you are thinking or have looked into membership and loyalty programs. Looking at like Nick Jones and Soho House and how that's taken on. It's the ultimate loyalty program, right? I was just wondering if any of you are looking into that sort of membership and lifestyle brand sort of image.
Yeah, so funny that you ask, because during the pandemic we had quite some time on our hands, right? So we worked out quite some concept. We worked on a food concept, but also a loyalty program, a resident program as we call it. And we think this part is really, really important, right? Especially in Rotterdam and Copenhagen, we see a lot of people coming back to CityHub almost weekly. And it's nice to recognize these people, and also these people like to be recognized, right? So yeah, that's something we're trying to do, and they have a certain set of benefits, and we know them really well. We know them personally. We know them. We know which room they like. We know what their daughter does for studies. We talk to them a lot. So yeah, that's super important to have this personal experience. Also, especially for people that are coming back often with us.
And I imagine you did do this specifically on a personal level also. And so we're not talking about apps to count points, but it really is...
Very much, very much. We also make the assessment ourselves, and we train our city hosts really well to make that assessment. Because once somebody stayed for a certain time, we get a pop-up in our system, and then there's also this sort of like personal check. Is this person a good fit for our resident program, right? And then we can manually make this person a resident, and then have access to all these cool perks. Yeah. So definitely a big human side there. It's not standardized or anything, or not no gathering points like big chains.
Anything to add?
I'm a little bit jealous if I look at the membership programs of other hotels. We could still work on that, but yes, we keep loyalty in mind. But it's something where more could be done still.
Okay, well,
yeah.
It's good to keep it in mind.
I'm honest about it.
But I think also that true loyalty, when it started off, was about recognizing your guests.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing exactly, like you said, personal things and reflecting back on it.
Yeah.
So with the smaller size, you are able to do that.
Yes, of course. And when we have a returning guest, we know that we do all the obvious things for loyalty. But if you look at some concepts, how can they can take it to the next level, that they have guests that will never go to another hotel. Yes, I admire that. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, we can learn from each other.
Yes.
That's the nice thing. Yeah. Good. Still open for questions. I'm thinking. No more from you. Again, no questions. Okay. No, just checking in there. No, I think rounding off. Like I already said, I see you have great concepts, great designs, and be it history, be it art, be it the local part. Lots of elements there that are interesting, but maybe to stand out from the crowd, it is the connection that your staff makes with your guests, and obviously that you also make with your staff to enable that. I think that for me is one of the main takeaways that I would like to have here. Yeah. So thank you, Michel, Bruno, and Niels, for your contribution.